using some of our Effectz range. Now today I have decided to focus in on using some of our kind of metallic finishes here. So I've brought with me just some of the containers to show you. These are some of our metallic flakes. Now, part of the purpose of this live here is to kind of educate you on the difference between using the flakes over here and using some of our decorative foil sheets. Now this is some from the silver. We also have these in the gold and rose gold, just as we do with all of our other kind of metallic finishes here. So I thought, I've done a live in the past, and I thought we would focus in this time on some jewellery making, because when I hear about the metallic finishes, I instantly go to jewellery. Now I have cut a heart here. Ooh, let me just try and pick that up. I'll put it on here. I've cut a heart out of some of our Sizzix shrink plastic. Now when we use the shrink plastic, it gives us a kind of nice sturdy base to apply some of these metallic finishes. The reason that I've gone for jewellery this time is because a lot of people ask kind of what is the policy on being able to make and then sell the things afterwards, and we positively encourage it. So jewellery making is a really fantastic go-to thing when you're using things like metallic flakes. Now, as I say, I've cut this out. I'm going to show you how to make something really cool. With our shrink plastic, we have this lovely shiny side here, and then we've also got the matte side here. Now the matte side, we can do things like apply our distress inks, distress oxides, and then shrink it down for that kind of intensified colour. But on this side, we have the shiny surface that we can use with some of our Sizzix alcohol pens. Now, to hand, I have some alcohol spray here. You can tell I've written an A in marker pen to indicate that that is alcohol spray. We're going to use some of that with these pens. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the kind of fatter side of these pens. We've got this fat side here, and then we've got the lovely little thin side for adding detail. Now I'm just going to go randomly just add some colour on there. I'm not going to add too much because I do want to also add some other colours. I want to make sure I get full coverage. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a lovely kind of marble effect when we use it with those alcohol pens. And we're already having so much fun in this video, and we haven't even got to using our metallic flakes yet. So I'll just come in with a little bit of red because I want some kind of intensity to the colours as well. There we go. Now I could just leave it like that. That looks absolutely lovely. But what I am going to do is just give it a quick spray. I'm going to put it, while I was doing this, you know what, a better view for you guys at home would be putting it on this white cardstock here. Now just look at that effect. I'm tempted to keep it like that, but just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to apply a little, you know, that one spray is absolutely fine. And then I'm just going to tap this round with my fingers because I want to create a lovely kind of organic looking coloured surface. Now look at that, how lovely is that? But just imagine this with some of our metallic flakes added. Now I'm going to shrink this down using my the heat tool kit here. So we've got this lovely mat that's going to create some friction, so this isn't going to blow around while I am shrinking it. And we've got this mesh to add a bit of control while we are shrinking. We're not going to get it blowing around the table there. So time to warm up the heat tool here. I've got it on the lowest setting at the moment, just while it warms up, and I'm going to apply an even coverage of heat. So you will start to see this heart begin to shrink. There we go. You can see the sides curling up here, and you can see that the mesh mat has given that a bit of control so that it's not just curling all in on itself to a point where we can't flatten it back out. And there we go. And finally, the piece de resistance is my little stamper tool there. So this, you don't want to apply too much pressure, because what can happen if you push down on here, then this element is going to bulge out at the sides. But just look at this effect here. Now, the colours have all intensified and it looks just fantastic. But as I say, what that could do with are some kind of shiny metallic elements. So I'm going to bring this to one side now. Now, I would do this by taking some of our 3D adhesive. Now, the difference between this lovely 3D adhesive and, you know, your normal standard sort of PVA glue is that this has got dimension to it, so it's not going to kind of fall back into its, you know, a flat shape along the surface that you apply it to. Now, I'm just going to apply a bit randomly with my finger just to a few kind of key areas because I want that organic effect where we're going to see bits of this lovely colour shining through. Now, I would wait for this to dry. You can help it along with the heat tool, but we don't need to because I have prepped the same element earlier with some of the glue, some of our 3D adhesive on it that has dried. Now, once it dries, it's going to stay tacky, and that's very important because once you've applied it, you don't want it to dry to a point where you can then no longer apply all those lovely metallic finishes. So it's going to stay nice and tacky until you have applied the metallic finish. Now I'm going to go with some of the rose gold metallic flakes here. Now if you just have a look in here, it's a really great idea to put it in some kind of container because this stuff, you know, the slightest bit of air movement is going to blow this stuff around because it's so delicate. Now I'm going to take some bits on with my finger. We just want it on our finger at the end and have a look at this. I'm going to press it on there. I'm going to brush the rest off. Now it's a good idea. What I've not brought with me, thinking back, is a dry paintbrush because that is going to give you a way to get off the rest of the flakes that you're not using. But just look at that. Now I'm taking bits off. I'm not applying it to the whole thing. I don't want full coverage. I just want a nice kind of natural coverage there so that we're seeing that lovely pattern come through, but we've also got that lovely metallic finish. And just have a look at that. Now, this element alone, what I'm thinking, I would have punched a hole in it before I shrank it and attach it to maybe some earrings or a keychain, but just have a look at some of the effects that I've come up with earlier for this. Now here are a pair of earrings that I've applied this effect to. Now this looks to me like something that you would see at a really lovely craft fair. You know, how long has it taken me to make this? What about, we're on about, let me just have a look over 8 minutes there, because we're on 8 minutes and I've already created this fantastic element here. We've got it here. I created my own little jewelry brand logo there. I've presented it nicely, and this is something that I think, you know, you could sell this for, I'm going to guess, definitely over £10 at a craft fair, a jewelry fair or something like that. So that's what we're working with here. And this was made just using some of the 3D adhesive and some of our metallic flakes in the rose gold. We also have the silver and the gold to work with. Now, this is another one that actually I'm not going to show you this one yet. This one here, I have a butterfly element that I've applied the same thing to. And how cool is that? Just a key ring. And if we're moving around, we can catch the light there. It looks really, really great. Okay, so on to using the foil sheets here. Now, as you can see, it's shiny, it's great, but you can see that it is a kind of foil effect, and that's what we want with something like this. It's more organic, it's more natural, but it's not as kind of shiny as the effect that we get when we use these foil sheets here. Now, I've also taken a moon element here. Now, I've cut this. This is from the Rabbit and Moon set from chapter 1. Now, I'm going to take one of my metallic sheets here. With the metallic sheets, we have the shiny side, and then we've got this kind of more matte side that we have in this copper colour here. Now, I want to have it so that the matte side is going to go down on my surface, because this is the surface that I want to be showing. So just remember that the surface that you want to be showing is the one that you're going to have facing up. Now I've already applied my 3D adhesive to here, and all we are going to do, and what I like to do, is rub it with my knuckle there, so you can see it already adhering to the bits there. You can see those textures coming through there. And that's how I know that it has stuck down. Now it might take more than one go, but look at that. That is gorgeous. Now this, again, on an earring or something like that, I can reapply. I'm going to apply near the top now. And then you can decide on the coverage that you want. You know, if you leave the adhesive long enough, it is going to dry. And then you're just left with a surface where you've applied these lovely metallic finishes to the areas that you think look great. But just look at that. All of those kind of natural raised areas there and these lovely textures have been highlighted with that foil sheet. So this is how we use the foil sheets, and as you can see, it's slightly more shiny than when you're using the flakes. So that is lovely. And over here is one that I've made earlier. I punched a hole in this. Oh, just on a side note, with this I used, to get the finish on the front before I used the 3D adhesive, I just pressed it into an embossing pad like this, took it out, poured over my embossing powder, and I heat set it, and then I repeated that process to create almost an enamel finish. And then we let that dry and add this over. So that's just another idea there. But look at that for a lovely earring. Again, something that you might see at a craft fair. Now again, here's a card that I made using the same effect, where I've just applied these to the butterfly. And if I move this round, look at that sheen. It's so great, and there are so many ways to be creative with this fantastic product. So, from me, that is about all that I'm here to show you today. But what I would love to see are the fantastic designs that you come up with at home with these amazing products. So, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the live, and I hope it's given you some ideas of where to go with these really great products. And again, I'd love to see what you come up with at home, and I will see you next time.